Keith, everything's fine. I'm just going to need to ask you for a small sample of your goo. I was hitting the wrong button. Bang, bang, bang.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Keith and Mike Watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I got it swallowed during the intro. Very, very happy.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome, everybody.
That's not why I wanted a sample, but...
Well, you know. Today we are talking about Season 7, Episode 21, When It Rains. We are, 5 episodes from the finale. It's crazy. We are in the home stretch of Deep Space Nine. I know that we're all excited. I know that we're all a little sad, and we're going on the roller coaster. It is clickety-clacking pretty darn fast right now. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I had a little of a convo with the patrons last night at the watch along. You know, you can become one of them still and forevermore. Patreon.com/KandM. Because
probably not forever. We're gonna quit someday.
It's someday, yeah. Not anytime soon. So don't get too excited, folks. We got a whole nother, I don't know, 6 to 8 years.
Save us from this misery.
So there's some questions because the holidays for those who celebrate are coming quickly up. We got the Christmas and the New Year's, and usually we take a week off around there and all kinds of stuff. And it's coinciding with the endings of our show. And so people want to know, what is the schedule? So
that's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that.
I guess that was the answer is that Keith and I are actually, despite our general workflow, I promise you all that we will sit down and look at a calendar and try to map out at least to let you know when this is gonna happen. Because here are the things I would like to do, Keith, and you tell me. First, answer me this question. I was noticing on my files here that it looks like the finale is a two-parter? It
is.
Okay. So, that is a thing we have to address. Yeah. And also, I would like to set up for our patrons specifically, and to encourage some late patrons perhaps, we do a big family watch of that finale. Or would you prefer not to do that, so that our review is not? I thought maybe what we could do is do pick a day and marathon that baby. Do the watch along, right into the review.
No way.
Is that too much?
Our brains will not function well. We'll be out there, we're like, yeah, whatever.
So when you say it's a two-part, it's like a 2 hour, it's a full 2 hour.
It's a full 90 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
So here are my thoughts on this, because I also have been thinking about this.
Okay, cool. See, you have more context than I do. I
have more context. I think you and I should not record the same day as we watch it.
Okay.
Because I think we will be exhausted. Mm-hmm. And I think the finale deserves our full energy and attention. Now, as far as the watch along with the patrons, here's what I suggest we do. Mm-hmm. I think we should do the watch along all together as a family, but you do not have access to the chat.
Well, this is why I wanted you to do it with me, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. In fact, I think my goal is to not do it here. I think I'm going to move to the actual huge OLED and have my laptop up so I can record it all, but not engage.
I think that's the right idea. So I'll be there.
So Keith
I'll be chatting with everybody.
Watches the watch along. Yeah.
I will watch the watch along, and everybody, and that way in the chat anybody can say whatever they want, spoilers included, whatever, as long as Mike does not have access to it. Then we can have that free form thingy, and then we can subsequently do the full 2 hour episode, probably as a single episode, unlike what we did with the pilot. Does that make sense to everybody? Does everybody feel good about that?
I like it quite a bit.
And then after that, I was actually pitching this to JD over the email. I think once we're done all of that, and once we are finished, we'll do something on What We Leave Behind, the documentary. I don't know if it'll be like a normal episode because we can't really I can't do much of a summary for it.
Mm-hmm.
But after we're done all of that, and after we've done our top 10s and our top 5, whatever we're gonna do, I think we should do a live, like, wrap party with all of the patrons.
Yeah, totally.
And where we can all just hop on and I'll just sort of like, pour one out for Deep Space Nine before we move on to the next thing. So all of these things coming up on the Patreon at patreon.com/K&M. We will be throwing confetti through the tape.
So the documentary is fully available on YouTube, right?
Or you can buy it on YouTube. But yes.
Okay. Because I was going to say that we could probably forget it. No problem.
But yeah, good. But I think if we do, it might be too much to watch along with it. I mean, in terms of like have that be our wake because with the documentary, it's just like so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But anyway, we'll sort it out. Yeah. Anyway, the point is we're going to go out big.
Mm-hmm. I was saying for a show we liked less than this, we did 3.5 hours and cried about 3 times. So.
Oh, we're gonna probably do more of that.
Yeah. So. There's always crying involved.
There's always crying, always, because like I was gonna say it's a cast party, but we're not in the cast. But it is kind of like let's have everybody over. Let's all put on our pajamas and eat pizza and watch the VHS recording of ourselves in the show and tell each other how great we are, and hopefully somebody will hold my hand under a blanket, if you know what I mean, when nobody's watching during my big number.
I was thinking Keith. So Keith closed his show this past Wednesday, and congratulations again, Keith. Thanks again to everyone out there, and by everyone I mean Jamie, who came out to see twice, which is crazy and amazing, and the support is appreciated. But there was a moment because the first time we did it, Keith, it was real crazy hectic and just like trying to get that thing to happen. This time was not, it didn't feel so crazy. It was a little more cozy. So I had a moment to actually take stock and be like, you know what? Not for nothing. We're doing a show at Theater Row on 42nd Street in New York City right today. And like, that's pretty awesome. And there weren't a lot of us there. Derek couldn't be there. Like it was a couple of us, like a handful. I was like, yeah, man, we're making this happen. And feeling like real awesome, right? So you have the highs. And then, like, I don't know, 11 seconds later, I'm rushing to catch a train. Me and Keith are breaking down props, like throwing them out the door onto the highway so Jills can get them in the car. It's like the
literally,
lows.
Just like people are honking, because you're trying, you're literally on 41st Street at the stage door trying to like throw things into a car that like there's a bus behind that's furious that you're like pausing.
It's the overwhelming smell of urine. It's
chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but that's the glory of it. And speaking of fun Patreon exclusives, once Mike and I finish editing and putting together the filmed version of this show, which we did get a pretty good filmed version of it, that will be available on Patreon exclusively for our subscribers. The entire show, good, bad, and ugly. So lots of fun stuff to look forward to in the future. Even though we have indeed been scattered for the last few weeks,
and we appreciate everybody who stuck with us. Yeah, and to say thank you, I've said this on the watch long, so I won't belabor it, but I have a dump of content coming. Like I did it like a listen along, some albums. I'm gonna release that slowly on the Patreon. Geekly is actually coming back. There's one in the can planned. Keith will join us on occasion when he's available. My brother and my buddy Ron are going to help co-chair when Keith is not available or is not feeling it. Yeah. Lots of stuff. I've got ideas for the Golden Girls. There's ideas for There's a lot of stuff we're going to do. It's just the Patreon, we don't have to schedule or prepare or do any. It can just kind of be whenever. That YouTube has to be a little more curated because algorithms. So anyway, as a thank you for putting up with our scattered stuff and the fact that I'm taking a little time off from gigging, there's going to be stuff coming. So thank you for your patience. Thanks for sticking with us. Get excited for Voyager, because guess what, Keith? I have one more surprise.
What's that?
I realized something, and I wanted to share it. I want to share it publicly.
Okay, let's all do this together.
I'm a little excited for Voyager now.
You should be!
I don't know what happened. I don't know how it happened, but I saw a picture of, because I'm getting a bunch of like, the algorithms are Star Trekking me to the 9th right now.
For sure, yeah.
And I didn't even read the headline. I just got a picture of, what's his name, Bob Picardo?
Mm-hmm.
Just a picture of him doing something that seemed to be hilarious. And I was like, you know what? I used to hate Quark. I didn't know the character. Just the concept of Quark made me be like, that's stupid. I have no reason to feel that about Voyager. So I saw this picture of the hologram doc, and I was like, yo, I can't wait. I'm kind of pumped. So,
oh yeah,
there we are.
And it's actually a pretty good parallel. I think people might like think Neelix and Quark are the the parallel, but I think the Doctor might be. Mm-hmm. And Bob is hilarious.
And then it dawns on me that I will then have watched all of Deep Space Nine, Voyager,
yes,
the Star Trek movies. And we'll have never done a full watch through of TNG.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because that's the only one I had any touch point to.
I know. Well, I mean, look, maybe Mike watches Next Gen as bonus.
Maybe Mike just watches, he's just always watching TV. That's all he does.
I mean, he is anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Might as well record it.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. Well, speaking of recording,
yeah,
Mike's got a meeting in 93 minutes, so we better hop on pop. And first, start talking about last week's episode, The Changing Face of Evil. And here's what the patrons had to say about it. Joshua Cronin says, intense episode. So much is happening. I don't blame you, Mike, for just wanting to binge the rest, but happy you're waiting it out like we all did. By the way, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I guess a week late now. Such strong storytelling in this one. They are crossing all of the T's and dotting all of the I's. Just wait. 96 self-sealing stem bolts for me. Oh yeah, happy birthday, Mike.
Thanks.
Mike and Jen had a lovely birthday day. I got a lot of pictures. It was nice. I didn't do anything. Brian from Video Game Drive-By. No, that's not. No, Jillian and I sent a video. That's right.
You did. It was very funny.
We did a cameo. Brian from Video Game Drive-By says, hey guys, congrats again on your show. Thank you. We'll definitely be watching the clips. You can see the whole thing, buddy.
Yeah, baby.
Soon enough. It's a bummer I couldn't attend. Hopefully I'll be able to watch it at some point. Yeah, you will. Both of you deserve all the success in the world. Oh, thank you. As for this episode...
Neither of you have received it.
There's a lot of things we deserve.
The gulf between deserve and receive is wide.
Hey, I listened to my interview on NPR this morning. It went very well.
Oh, that's cool.
As for this episode, the Ducat is out of the bag. Damar is starting a journey in full. No turning back. Resist now, resist tomorrow. And of course, we have the Alamo of it all starting to the Alamo of it all starting to show itself. And that's true. Alamo, Alamo. Pour one out for the Defiant. She was a tough little ship. Nobody tell Worf I said that. But Brian did not just end with that. He bought Mike coffee for his birthday with a super tip down here below.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I could only afford half a coffee after YouTube took its cut, but
well, and don't forget I take my cut for your birthday.
You know what? There are two things, two times in life where people have made a handshake 50-50 agreement. Bob Gaudio and Frankie Valli, and Keith and Mike, for whatever reason.
Look, for your birthday, I will give you a handful of dirty change randomly that will...
I want that last penny.
Exactly, like literally the last penny. I haven't touched change in years.
I like when somebody asks you if you want change, and you're like, what? No.
What? I don't pay for anything with cash.
But rarely. You know what's funny? I just did.
Oh.
So, listen. I love me a fire pit. I love a campfire. It's just something very primal about it I love. But here in the suburbs, baby, you go to the Wegmans or whatever, and you gotta buy a bag of firewood. That shit is like $18. But
bananas. You
drive by somebody's house, and they're like, firewood. It's like $5 for so much firewood. You just have to have a saw to cut it up. That's fine. No problem. But they want $5 for it, and I only had a 20. So I could have been altruistic, Keith. And I said, here's my 20. I'm taking this firewood. But you know what I did?
Not gonna do that.
I took 4 boxes. So I have
nice.
I got what I paid for, but I have it is an insane amount of wood I have in my shed for this little solo stove I have. So if you need any wood or want to come to a fire, come on over.
Hey, when I go up to Vermont, when I had the larger fire pit, I'd fill up my trunk full of firewood. My parents still wood heat.
Smart.
So it's free. Well, I mean, I did help cut it and stack it, so free
your labor,
with some effort.
Yeah.
All right, so Hibernation Pod says, I remember my brothers always saying that he never wanted to be number one at work because when it hits the fan, it would all be his fault, even if he had nothing to do with it. Number two was good enough for him. Is that a meow you both did at the end of Trivial Trivia? Probably. Who's to say? I don't remember. Congrats, Keith, and happy birthday, Mike. This has always been a top fave for me. Like Keith pointed out, all in context with so much happening in one episode. The whole thing was a best moment for me, not the only one, though. None of the moments could be nearly as impactful without all the other elements included here. I was wondering if you two were ever going to do at least one more scene act. I don't know.
Well, this is not the first time they've asked. After the first one, they were like,
we got a lot of drama criticism after last time.
I know it was mostly positive reviews, I thought.
For you.
Well, I mean, that's just natural. But we should pop on in. You know what I think we should be doing is any cutscenes we should be doing.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right.
In this last shoot, if you remember.
I'll keep an eye out. Yeah. Long ago,
or Voyager. We'll do the cutscenes for Voyager when we get in there.
There you go.
Going forward.
They weren't allowed to emote on Voyager, so...
See, that doesn't mean anything to me.
We'll get there. Long ago, my niece got her sticky little hands on one of my most prized CDs and scratched it all up for no reason. She then, as always, blamed her little sister. I didn't believe her, of course. A line that I would never let anyone cross after that. Also, around 6 years old, I got a Rancor for Christmas. I loved that thing, but it disappeared, never to be seen again.
A Rancor as in, like, the monster from Trek? Or from Star Wars?
I would assume so.
I love that little thing. It's not something you usually hear about the Rancor.
Hey, look. 98 tightly sealed escape pods. Yeah, childhood betrayals. There was... the worst betrayal I ever had as a child was on Easter. And we were at my grandparents' friends, and all the kids, we got big Easter baskets full of candy. And we were out running around doing stuff, and I came back, and there was... like my half cousin something whatever, she might have been like 5, and she was just sitting in the corner just
eating
covered in chocolate, eating my candy. And I didn't get that candy replaced. I almost murdered a child. And you know what? I think it would have been justified.
I mean, at least it would have been a split jury, I think. I won't relitigate this, but every Christmas you and I spend together, Keith, I revisit the Secret Santa in 2nd grade when everybody had toys, and he just gave me a half-used troll eraser. Oh my god,
the freaking troll eraser!
And I just had to sit there. I mean, it's a core trigger memory for me.
I mean, it has the number of times it has come up in our oeuvre is astounding.
Yeah, and the number of Christmases you've missed the opportunity to send me a used troll eraser, it's really...
That's true. I can't believe I haven't done that.
Yeah, it's really been sitting there the whole time.
I mean, is it because I care about you too much to trigger that core trauma, or I care about you too little and I didn't even think of you in the first place?
He needs to be reminded of every year.
I do. I literally do. All right, YouTube viewer says this was a great episode. My only real problem is a lack of Jake. A problem that afflicted most of Season 6 and Season 7. Agreed. 95 stem bolts. But I hear Jake has been keeping busy, but not necessarily in a good way. He used his journalistic credentials to add legitimacy to a shady tabloid news service that posts clearly fake sensationalist news stories. And guess what? We've got it. Patrick's Puzzler. There are no stupid questions. Kai wins steamy love affair with Cardassian despot Gul Dukat. What the Bajoran government doesn't want you to know. On page 1. Did the Vorta infiltrate Ferengi Commerce Authority? Shocking relationship between Wayun and Liquidator Brunt revealed. What the Dominion doesn't want you to know. Page 4. Are the so-called vaporization settings of phasers merely so covert agents can fake their deaths? What the Romulan Tal Shiar doesn't want you to know. Are sentient holograms, and genetically enhanced superhumans taking over our med bays? What the Federation doesn't want you to know. I married a Paul Wraith, the Miles O'Brien story. Apparently everyone wants you to know that one. This news journal is brought to you by Quarks. Come to Quarks. Quarks is fun. This week only, Quarks is featuring the comedy stylings of the famous Cardassian expat comedian Elam Smimmerturf. That's a deep cut. I like it. In Deep Space Nine, your stem bolts are all self-sealing. In Dominion-controlled Cardassia, the stem bolts seal you. That was funny. Thank you for that, YouTube.
Well done.
Very well done. We need to do the graphics for all that.
Nah.
JD says, "Jeez, love this episode. Coming in hot. What you're talking about with
trying to make that the Defiant smoke last week took me like an hour and a half. I was like, done enough with this.
It looked good though.
That's why I said this week I was like, let's do an easy one.
Yeah, well, let's do an easy one is our subtitle.
Yeah, it's true.
JD says, love this episode. What you're talking about with Kai Wynn is the sunk cost fallacy. Or in for a penny, in for a pound, and this is, I think, the best version of that ever shown on screen. Because no one goes in for just one penny. It's multiple pennies that happen over time.
Not
and
anymore.
Then you realize, like Wynn, that you've put so many pennies in the jar that you have to keep going or admit you were wrong all along. And this is the slow burn version over 6 seasons, and it's fantastic. Agreed. Guys, 6-7 is 42. 6 times 7 is 42, the answer to life in the universe and everything the new sequel to The Matrix, The Geriatrics, is gonna be amazing at the old folks' home. Yeah, I think I think if Keanu doesn't want to do it anymore,
Man.
we could be The Geriatrics. I only watched the first 10 minutes of the new one. I came to like, Jonathan Groff is there. It was weird. I need to watch the rest of it. Yeah, remember when we laughed about 9/11? Jeez, yeah.
Well, I mean, that was only tangentially about 9/11.
I mean, didn't stop it from being hilarious. The thing with the Alamo reminds me of like 10 or 15 years ago, when every once in a while you'd see someone drag an entire CPU tower and monitor and keyboard and mouse into Starbucks in order to play a game for a few hours and annoy the crap out of everyone. Same energy, although, JD, I think that might have been more than 10 or 15 years ago. So you were pulling in a tower.
Listen, I've done a few LAN parties in my time, and in fact, I'll never forget. Oh my God, there was this game. It was like a battle Tetris type game. It was called I can't remember what it was called, but it was like our first year of college, and me and my boys from high school that were still friends. That first semester home from college, we all brought our towers and like hooked them up just to play because we had been playing it online. Anyway, it's some crazy times. We're playing GoldenEye on the N64, but in order to, anyway.
Well, wasn't it your Xbox we'd play Halo on tour?
No, I think it was Devin.
No, it wasn't Devin. Oh, it was Harold.
Oh my God. Yeah. I forgot about that. I forgot about that human being until right now.
But we'll clip that out. Yeah. No, my younger brother and I, early on,
but we had to take turns because only 4 could play at a time.
Only 4 could play at a time, yeah. But we hooked up 2 old, Pentium 1s to play Command and Conquer hooked up together.
Yes, dude. That is a callback.
Fantastic game.
Mm-hmm.
That is like one of the greatest video games that have ever been made.
Some of them from those old PC days. And this was before you just go on the internet and like get a walkthrough or do anything. It's like you had to do it. You had to play.
Well, but you were strategizing against another person. Like, it was. I would play that right now, right this minute with you.
You can, buddy. You can.
Yeah, we should. Anyway, where were we?
It's been a while.
Mike is hitting everything. Is hitting the everything is a conspiracy point of the show. I too tend to poop when I'm tipped on my side, so it's understandable why you confuse that. I vaguely remember saying something about that. I actually have a box of extra figures in a box to the side when the friends with kids visit.
Great idea.
Brilliant.
Clipped and stolen.
Brilliant.
The visitor toys. Love it.
Yeah. Road toys. My laptop is a touchscreen, so yes, I hate people touching my laptop because they always open weird stuff. Oh yeah, don't touch anything of mine.
If it's a screen, don't touch it.
Don't touch it. So I take it you have some opinions regarding the shutdown. Yeah, I had very cleverly, very subtle opinions that I have about the shutdown. This episode is loaded with big moments. It's really like the penultimate act ending. Easy, 98 self-sealing stem bolts for me. I would compare Deep Space Nine more to a Shakespearean play with 9 acts. And this is the end of Act 8, and next week is the start of the big final act of the play. Hard agree, very Shakespearean. Alan T. Girton says, happy birthday, Mike, and congrats to Keith on your show.
Thanks.
Don't think I can contribute more about the episode than what's already been shared. All 100% spot on. That's not true. So I'll just suggest 96 self-sealing stem bolts. John B. says, even though it's sad, I'm kind of glad the Defiant gets blown up. The show began with no Defiant, and it feels kind of right. Fair enough.
That's a good take.
Papadakis says, happy birthday, Mike.
Hey, thanks.
It just so happened to be my wife's birthday as well. Happy birthday. Mrs. Papadakis. Congratulations on your show, Keith. Anywho, I've always had a bit of a wormhole with Wynn in this episode. Now she's Team Pawwraith and impatient about receiving her power. Her reactions to the release to the concept of them being relieved from the fire case and the use of the customogin feels off. Yes, the writers need to do some exposition here, but I can buy into Wynn still feeling a little conflicted or reticent about triggering the end times. But her surprise and abhorrence seems out of place. Maybe abhorrence is too strong. I don't know. Thoughts? 95 bolts. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this is tied into the JD's sunk cost fallacy, where I think Wynn has 3 things happening at the same time. 1, sunk cost fallacy. She's already this far down the road, she can't give that up. 2, her megalomania, right, which is calling her to want to do this. And 3, the part of her that still thinks she's doing the right thing. And so it's got to be a whirlwind in her head.
And I think there's some self-delusion that goes in as well. This is a terrible analogy, but I'm going to use it. It's kind of like when you have those moments, and by you, I'm going to just be very specific to me. You have those moments where you know what? My pants don't fit. I'm going to reel it in a little bit. And then you're going to see a movie, and you're like, I really should not eat a tub of popcorn. Absolutely not. And then your partner says to you, hey, do you want to get some popcorn? You're like, how? I told you I am not doing this right now. I'm taking care of, why would you even suggest that? Gross. And then 30 seconds from then, you're shoving popcorn in your mouth. So
out of her tub, which you said you didn't want, so she got a smaller tub, and then you ate half of it, and now she hates you.
Not only that, but also, added to all this, read the Win. When you isolate the episodes, I totally agree. Isolated, I was like, this felt like out of nowhere. But once I start thinking about them stitched together and the arc of it, it starts to make sense. Because now when you add this week in, and where she goes this week, which we're about to talk about, it all starts to clickety-clack. And I'm like, oh, this all tracks, actually. I couldn't possibly, I'm gonna do it. Oh my God, I can't. I'm definitely gonna do it. Okay, I'm doing it, I'm murdering, and now I don't need you anymore. It's all together.
Yeah, I mean, if you're right. If you look at the larger arc of Wynn, at this point, she has been backed herself into all of these impossible corners. So there has got to be a tornado going on in her head of megalomania and shame and hope and despair and embarrassment and all of it. I would hate to be in her head. I think I would melt, like Indiana Jones. And lastly,
Roger Rabbit. I think Roger Rabbit was a superior melting, but up for debate.
Onagata81 says, y'all's theme song slaps.
That's all Keith right there. Yeah,
I'll take it. Yeah.
That's maybe the nicest thing anyone's ever said.
It legitimately is. Also, when I watched this episode for the first time, I was devastated at the destruction of the Defiant. The old naval tradition that the captain goes down with the ship came to mind. I remember thinking, Cisco, you better not stay on that ship. And I'm really glad he didn't. But you're right. That is a naval tradition.
It is, and it's thematic. It's something that seems like a little lost in Trek. Like, I guess we have so much at our disposal in the future that it's not a concept. But it's funny because when Trek began, at least back in the OG, it was very much nautical, right? It's
nautical, but I think that's not a thing today already. Like I think that is like a concept, and it's like that's not a thing anymore. Like, you know, if you're like in the military, and military people who are watching this, like, you're not going to kill your captain of the ship, a valuable person as well as an important commander. Like, you're not going to just let them die with a ship out of, like,
I don't know, what about
spite with fate?
I don't know. Like, on a big cruise ship is sinking, like if the Titanic was happening today, like, I don't know. Have we changed that policy?
But Titanic would be the wrong analogy, because, like, obviously if somebody else had to die to save you, then of course you stay. But, like, if there are plenty of lifeboats and you can get off,
I don't know what's happened. I've lost everything. Wait, no, I'm back. I pulled my headphones out. Sorry. I panicked. My screensaver popped on at the same time, so I thought it was over.
Hilarious. All right, so
it's happened before.
Yeah, it certainly has. All right, let's move forward.
How many times have we had to, like, fully re-record, you think? It's only a handful of times.
The first one we did for the practice.
That was bad.
The pilot of our
that could have derailed the whole thing.
I mean, it was like a 50-50 that we're going to be like, you know what?
I'm sure we both had that moment too. We're like, I don't know.
We're not even sure this is going to matter at all. And it certainly didn't for like 2 years. Like, no, you know, like 2 years later, 5 people had listened to it. It was like, why did we even bother? Anyway,
we still get an email every once in a while. People still listen to that show.
People are still watching that show, 100%. All right, so Deep Space Nine, Season 7, Episode 21, When It Rains, ... aired on April 5th, 1999. The top song, oh God. Speaking of Out of Practice podcast, boy, did we spend some time on this one, and we had a good time. We were living a certain type of life. And, It was maybe a bit of a crazy life. En español, por favor.
Oh man, you just opened up so many neurons. She will wear you out. You living la vida loca. Something when I think the bullets in your brain.
Somewhere Ricky Martin is spinning in his not grave.
No, he's doing great. He looks younger than he's ever looked. He keeps getting hotter.
He has a higher hotness budget than we do.
Oh man, he's got it to spare. He could send some over.
I mean, he's got some leftovers. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so get ready for that for the rest of the run of the show. The top movie.
Man, that song is a banger too. Although not his greatest. One of his first albums, Vuelta, I believe. Anyway, I used to listen to all Spanish albums because I preferred them. But you know, I was a Ricky Martin stan.
Sure. I saw him in Evita.
Oh, I didn't see the Evita.
A friend of mine put him into the Les Mis tour before any of this happened. When he was Marius in the Les Mis tour between Menudo and his like solo breakout. Though, didn't something happen with him? I forget. I'm not going to make any allegations. The top movie this week.
I think it was like women were upset when he was not into women.
Oh, no. I mean more recently than that.
Oh.
Anyway,
I haven't really
top
kept up
movie.
On my...
I haven't either. Well, here it is. That's been your Ricky Martin moment, where two people who don't really know anything talk for no reason. The top movie this week was Entrapment. Of course, the Sean Connery and Catherine Zeta-Jones heist flick. famous for the laser beams and the butt.
Oh, yeah. The laser butt.
Yeah, see, you remember then. You had no idea at any point until the laser beam butt section. Speaking of laser beams and butts, what was on TV tonight?
Not a ton, Keith. Melrose Place. You remember Melrose Place?
Sure. As a concept, I never watched one.
It also was in its final season. It was in the last run. It was moving quickly to its May 99 finale. So they're in the home stretch as well. NBC, which ended up becoming like Super Pop, with Seinfeld of it all and whatnot, it was actually struggling. They were down in the ratings. In fact, they were trying to rebuild their critical reception and eyeballs with a show called Suddenly Susan, which...
I remember Suddenly Susan.
Yeah. I don't. Who was in that?
Wasn't that the SNL little short blonde guy? Did the Hollywood News.
David Spade?
David Spade.
Was Suddenly Susan?
Wasn't it? Or was what am I confusing that?
Anyway, apparently this was an interesting period for Suddenly Susan because David Strickland, who was one of the major cast members, had died, and they were trying to write. It's a comedy, obviously, so they're trying to write around that.
That happened a lot in that era.
UPN had an animated Dilbert cartoon, which I had forgotten all about.
Oh.
It only lasted 2 seasons, but it was trying.
The Dilbert guy turned out to be a horrible monster.
Wow, this seems to be Mike is just firing off the monsters. Although I refuse to believe Ricky Martin's a monster until I read it. I hope at that age is okay. And Keith, over on ABC, there was a little show called The Practice, which was finally finding its footing in the middle of its run.
Okay, I was wrong about Suddenly Susan, but listen to this cast. Brooke Shields.
Oh, yeah!
Kathy Griffin. Judd Nelson. Nestor Carbonell from Lost. Eric Idle did 22 episodes of that. That's crazy. What a wild
Brooke Shields
cast.
Making her big return back to TV. I
rode an elevator with her once.
Nice.
The elevator on 54th Street that went up to what used to be Shetler. I've ridden on that elevator with more celebrities than any other.
That's where I met
elevator.
Tony Danza. My big Tony Danza date. Let me tell you this about Brooke Shields. I'm lying. It's not Brooke Shields at all that I'm thinking about. Forget it. But now I'm going to tell this story that has nothing to do with Brooke Shields. No.
It was pretty sure David Spade was.
I can't think of her name. Who was the actress who was in Moonlighting?
It was Sybil Shepherd.
Sybil Shepherd. So my dad used to watch Moonlighting.
Sure.
And I was young. I was in my 8s or 9s, whatever, whenever Moonlighting was on. It was in the late 80s, right? And I remember thinking in my head, the first time I saw my dad watching Moonlighting, this must be a naughty movie. Because she's so beautiful. That's what I remember thinking. She's so beautiful that it must be naughty.
Sybil Shepherd was doing it for you.
Yeah, so that's that Catholic guilt growing up. If God forbid you find something attractive, it must be naughty.
I mean, it's probably true. It's probably true.
I should go back and watch Moonlighting. That's the original Will They Won't They.
I never saw it, but yeah, I mean,
Sybil Shepherd, Bruce Willis. How can you go wrong?
She in her heyday was a very attractive lady. Anyway,
enough about Moonlighting.
Enough about Moonlighting, and I'm already going to make you cut the Epstein joke. Let's talk about...
Did we have an Epstein joke?
I did. I snuck it in there. You didn't even notice.
Oh, man. Did you say the word Epstein?
I did.
Okay,
I did.
Good.
You'll find it. You'll find it.
If you don't Puerto Rico, how am I ever supposed to find it?
Puerto Rico! Now, Keith, waste your time. We're nowhere near that. With trivial trivia. All right, well, some bonus trivial trivia. Voyager this week was the episode 1159, which was a really interesting time travel-y kind of a deal. When It Rains was directed, did you see who directed this?
Renee Echeverria?
No, Michael Dorn.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Directed this one. He last directed Inquisition. It was written, you're correct, by Renee Echevarria with a story by Renee and somebody named Spike Steingasser, who was normally an actor and a stunt coordinator. So the stunt guy pitched a portion of this story, I would imagine. So now in the let's call it trivial trivia classic. Both Nana Visitor and Andrew Robinson felt that the writers should have included a scene when Garak and Kira confront Damar about the death of Zial.
I can't believe they didn't bring it up.
They did, just not with him.
No, yes, I know the show did, but I mean that we didn't have that scene.
Yeah, well, here's the rationale. The producers disagreed because although Zial and Kira's friend and Garak's lover, Garak's beard, they felt that it didn't serve any purpose because they were trying to redeem Damar at this point. Bringing up conflicts from the past felt like a step in the wrong direction. So narratively, where they were trying to accomplish, I get it. And I think that them both definitely bringing it up with Sisko and him saying like, no, this is not the time for it, and them being professional enough to do that, I thought actually made sense to me, because with the stakes that we're under, with the job that they're doing, they have time to come back and murder him later after the war is done. Right now the stakes are too high and they're too professional.
Sure, but so I understand the rationale. Totally get it and mostly agree. We still took 90 seconds to 2 minutes to re-litigate that ostensibly Odo oversaw the death of thousands of Bajorans.
Collaborator.
So,
but it wasn't out of nowhere, right? Because it was tied to Kira telling them that they had to kill other Cardassian collaborators.
Got you. Okay.
So it was thematically relevant.
Okay.
Vaughn Armstrong makes his second appearance in the series, on his way to playing an unequaled 13 roles in various Star Trek series.
You're not supposed to know this, but you've been on the show before. But now you're in trivial trivia, and Keith is such a whore.
You know, we take big swings here. You should just like pull that bumper up and we can play it.
Yeah, I should. Where would it be?
I don't know. Originally, the plan for Damar was to have him working as a double agent with Weyoun and the female changeling, all still believing he was serving the Dominion. However, Ronald Moore pointed out that this meant that none of the regulars would ever be directly involved in Damar's story, and at most, he might have gotten some subspace communication with them, but no actual interaction. As such, the Cardassian rebellion plotline would involve only recurring characters. And although Damar was a popular character amongst the fans and plotline was important, it felt necessary to get some regular cast members directly involved. I think that makes a great deal of sense. You want to know what also makes a great deal of sense plot-wise and probably cost a great deal of sense this week? It's our guest stars, including Andrew Robinson as Garak, Casey Biggs as Damar, Mark Alimo as Gul Dukat, J.G. Hertzler as Martok, Barry Jenner as Admiral Ross, Robert O'Reilly as Gowron, John Vickery as Russet, Scott Buckholder as Hilliard, not even mentioning Vaughn Armstrong in this, with special guest star Louise Fletcher as Kai Wynn. You know, they don't cost us sense. They give us sense. But they are always stars in our hearts.
Did you pre-write that? That was pretty good.
I did not.
Here's the Hall of Fame last page because I didn't reset it. That's Anton Thies, Merritt Neath, and Harry Pothead. Thank you so much for being on that second page of the Hall of Fame. Here's the first page of the Hall of Fame. These are people who have given us over $100 over the years. We still don't know why. We definitely haven't earned it, but we love them for it. But of course, we've got the main page of the patrons. That's Brian, that's Quark, Jamie, Jason, Deborah, Peter, Gala, Joshua, Anton, Mike, Alan in DC, Andrew, Allen, Ann, Worf, Charles, John, Keith, Casey, Harry, Carl, Deborah, Trent, and Odo's Bucket. We've got Lost Emu, Scotty B, Merritt Neath, Brian Woosley, AI Sausage, Ben B, Miles Davis, Sanjil, Brian, Nikolai, YouTube, Hibernation, Miri, Rogue Knight, Fedora, JD, Colin, Chris, Frank, Pat, Joshua, Kevin, Justine, Adrian Maynard, those aren't the words, Jerome, April, James, Jimmy, Fedora, Yamba, Shelly, Lauren, Bob, Old Guys, Kelly, welcome Kelly, Ryan, Kevin, Wyatt, Lutz, Bolian. I think that's everybody. I'm pretty sure. If we've forgotten you, I'm so sorry. We still love you. And I'm so glad, honestly, that y'all, so many people have been joining us on the watch-alongs and commenting and sharing so much about their personal lives and their stories and chatting with us over on the Patreon page, which you can do too. We really appreciate it. It is never lost on us. It's always appreciated, and we are consistently humbled by it. So thank you so much.
100%. What do you say? For the sextultimate time, I just made that up.
Sex dolls.
I mean, patreon.com/KNM.
Please don't make sex AI bot of
God.
Keith and mail it to us.
No. I mean, look, if you want to mail one, I'm fine, but not of me and not of Mike, please. Jesus. All right. I'm so sorry, everyone.
Yeah, I really apologize. We're just existing for the most part.
You know, this is the first episode we've done after my show is done, which was a stressor and exhauster for both of us. Mm-hmm. So I'm feeling fresh for the first time in like 6 months.
I mean, I don't know if fresh is the word I'd use, but because I've been wearing these pants for, 6 days, but I'm feeling good.
That's a lot of farts trapped in sweatpants. Because aren't they like lined with like fur or something like that? So those farts are eternal in there.
You hang over the fan at night when you're sleeping.
So the house is just filled with a ghost of pants farts.
You're writing a hell of a musical right here, man.
What did the farts sing? Let me out of the pants. All right. I'm so sorry. Let's begin when it rains. We may have made some progress coming up with the defense for the Breen weapon. And we have a whole team of mucky mucks talking about it. A Klingon ship was doing some technobabble during the giant attack that made them immune from the Breen weapon for some reason. So they're going to have all of their fleet do the same. But the modification only works with Klingon ships. So the Klingons are the only ones that can fight until they figure out a way to help the Romulan and Federation ships make this adaptation. And the Klingons are going to be outnumbered 20-1. So Martok plans to use guerrilla warfare tactics to occupy the Dominion and buy time. Smart, and something that, a lot of Deep Space Nine has been about how does a vastly outnumbered force fight a more powerful thing. That's what Kira did, that's what the Bajorans did, now the Cardassians are doing it. It's a really interesting theme here. But they're not alone. Damar and the rebels are also fighting, but they're also going to need to use guerrilla tactics taught to them by none other than Kira. Sisko is going to send her to Damar's secret base. Now, of course, she's not exactly thrilled, and is still very pissed that he murdered Zial, and this is the scene where they bring it up, which I think makes it okay that they don't bring it up later, for me personally. But she's going to have to set this aside for the moment and take Garrick along. And she says, Damar, now Garrick. This should be an interesting mission. Indeed it will. So in Act 1, Bashir is developing a way to create synthetic organs to help the battle wounded, and is trying to use Odo goo to help him make some T-cell-esque organs, which can be injected and form whatever organ is needed. Amazing science there. I feel like we're probably on our way there.
What's funny is I don't know that it. Well, let's just run the bumper anyway. Oh, that's not right. Oh, interesting. My buttons are all messed up, but...
Wormhole!
You were a little sharp, but surprisingly close, as we generally are, because we've listened to these things so long. But what's funny is that every once in a while, they undershoot the science. Like, we got here way sooner than they expected us to. And so, like, they should be light years beyond this.
Well, we're not injecting goo, which will create the organ yet. It's soon enough.
Yeah, it's like goo adjacent. And pretty soon we're going to just be 3D printing livers, so...
Well, you know, honestly, we're about to face, and we sort of are already facing with the specter of AI, all of the technological guesses from sci-fi fiction are going to be blown out of the water because of the exponential growth in technology that will happen in the next 5-10 years, that we're gonna you know, leap forward 200 years in the next 5 years. It seems like. So it's all going to be increasingly silly at this point. So Odo reluctantly lets Bashir borrow a cup of goo, as long as he promises to give it back when Odo gets back from his mission with Kira and Garrick. An awkward conversation. And I'm curious about the mechanics of goo people. Like, when you take a piece of you, like, does that have consciousness? Do you have the consciousness? Like, what counts as you? Are you complete without a piece of it? I don't know.
Interesting point. Well, because that goes back to, like, I think one of the original questions you brought up early on in the show about, like, he can create things, but only to the specifics of his mass. Like, his mass can't be created, or, like, there's that whole conservation of energy thing with the goo people as well.
Right, which I don't think applies, because he can
be like
change.
A hammer, yeah.
Yeah, like, his mass changes constantly.
Oh, yeah, remember that his buddy, what was his buddy's name?
He's like vapor.
What was his buddy's name?
I don't know.
Yeah. He turned into that, like, giant creature that was flying through
giant,
space.
And
yeah.
he turns himself into fire.
Oh, that's
which
right,
has almost
smoke.
no mass.
Yeah,
so. Fire and smoke. Like, so, like, I don't think any of that.
So then I think that you can give up some goo.
I think the answer is don't worry about it.
Yeah, but, like, that could be his ear, and then it ends up in Keith's shelf.
It could be. It could be. Well, you know, he's about to take a trip with Kira, so we know it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So, meanwhile, on Bajor, Wynn and Dukat are covering up Solbor's murder. Dukat wants to keep banging, but Wynn is still very aware that her boyfriend is actually Dukat. And she says, "Do you think I could let myself be touched by a man whose hands are stained with the blood of my people?" He says, "When we release the Pal Wraiths from the fire caves, your hands will be stained as well." And Wynn, cold as ice, "The Pal Wraiths will spare those who are worthy. The rest are of no consequence." Wow. But she still hasn't figured out how to release the Pal Wraith yet. So she sends Dukat out, and he
Dukat is pretty awesome, buddy.
Dukat, yes.
Because he's been a Dukat for a couple of weeks now.
And he's been using it.
Yeah, and he's kind of... I was interested... So remember, I think I brought up a week or two ago, I was like, is the banging just like a fringe benefit, or is it like intentional, or a little bit of both? But in this episode, and you wondered if there was actually some feeling there or whatnot, in this episode, it seems like he's feeling a little Dukat blocked. Right? He's asking, he's like, "Hey, we used to share a bed. Like, what's up? What's going down?"
But it definitely doesn't stop him from doing a Dukaki walk out. And as Wynn gives him a dirty look, he saunters everywhere.
Well, he's like, "I don't have to wear that big suit. I'm skinny as hell." You know, if I could go back in time and inhabit Skinny Mike, I'd have been sashaying every which way.
You know, here's the thing. You never know you're your skinniest when you're your skinniest.
You're right.
Like, I got, like, unhealthily too skinny.
Yeah, me too.
But my dysmorphia made me think I was still fat and I was unhealthy.
Although I did go get a muffin once from my muffin place after I had gone to Florida and lost a bunch of weight, and this guy, he asked me if I had cancer. And that was the first time I was like,
I think you're good.
Perchance, I've gone too far.
Yeah. Well, I had that. I mean, when we were on tour, you could, like, see my spine.
Crazy skinny.
Unhealthy.
Crazy skinny, yeah.
Unhealthy. Anyway,
Body dysmorphia.
Dysmorphia. Back on Deep Space Nine, Ross and Ben discuss Martok's big ceremony, inducting him into the Order of Kahless, a really big deal. And Gowron himself is going to do the ceremony. Kira and Garrick come in and announce that they've found the secret base, and they're going to leave in the morning. Damar, however, is concerned that his men will have a problem with Kira being in the Bajoran military. Luckily, they have a solution. Kira is joining Starfleet! Hell yes! And she looks fabulous in the Starfleet uniform. Me being the big, uniform nerd in these particular uniforms, I was so excited when Kira got to wear this uniform. I think it is the best version of Kira. I love the uniform. It just fills me with joy to see her in Starfleet.
Have we looked at a custom of this?
I don't think so.
We should.
I know there are some out there, but I don't think we've actually done it. But yeah, I don't know. It fills my little autistic heart with joy to see her in that uniform. So then Odo takes off his Bajoran uniform and puts on a quite a bit less fabulous frock. And Garrick is there to remind people, that costume is trash. Why are we making Odo wear that in the end
Not
game?
great. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's horrible. It's like what I wore in the 90s. Not good. So in Act 2, we arrive at Damar's secret base and set up in the cave. He and Bobby Moynihan are talking about the fact that they don't have enough food, but Kira is going to bring replicators. Then, Gowron himself is welcomed to the station by Sisko, Ross, Martok, and Worf. And he finally accepts Worf because Worf is now a member of Martok's family. See, Mike, because he hasn't seen all of Next Gen, you probably don't know much about Worf and Martok's history.
No.
But they have a very long history together. Worf and not Martok. Worf and Gowron.
Gowron's eyes still be bugging.
They still be bugging, and it's interesting, because Gowron is really a Next Gen character, but it is, and if you know all of his history, having him show up here, even at this point in the episode, is like this is not necessarily good news, as we're going to get to later in the episode. But it is interesting how he readily accepts Worf now that he is part of Martok's family.
I mean, that's how they roll, though, right?
That's how they roll, but Worf and his family history and his discommendation and disgrace from his, it's a whole.
They're dramatic, you know what I'm saying?
Klingons are such drama queens.
Yeah, it's crazy town.
For sure. So, in the infirmary, Bashir tells O'Brien about the will they won't they cutscene with Ezri from the previous episode, which is fascinating here because he basically tells what happened in the scene that was cut. And I wonder if when they were writing this episode,
I mean, do we have to do a dramatic reading of it?
No. It was from last week's episode. So when they wrote this or filmed it, did they know that scene had been cut and they were sort of filling in the gaps of that scene, or did they think it was part of the episode and they were referencing it?
Mm-hmm.
Either way, it makes sense in context, but also knowing that there was a scene that they're describing here that was to have taken place, is interesting. But of course, it is now weird between Bashir and Ezri. So Bashir has called Ezri in under fake medical pretenses. This is deeply unethical.
Yeah, I brought that up quickly about...
As did O'Brien,
yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, you're right.
I
didn't like the way that he was like, who cares?
No, you can't do that. I mean, and maybe that's a 90s perspective, but guess what we have learned since 1999? No, you don't use your power and position to influence people who you're romantically interested in.
That's not the first time he's done that, by the way.
No. No. So, hopefully we have all learned that, no, you don't do that. You don't do that. Anyway, he begins to analyze Odo's goo when Ezri comes in. And she tells him that she and Worf had a lot of contact when they were captured, which of course he interprets this to mean that they are together now.
Well, they were together.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was more of a momentary together rather than a permanent together. But they are interrupted by bad news from the analysis of Odo's goo. And he immediately calls the runabout and gives the bad news. Odo has the Founder's disease.
Awesome reveal. Like, I don't know why I didn't expect it. And then the twisty twist. Like, wait, I have the picture I have to show you.
Oh, yeah.
I'll wait till we get there, but...
Yeah, you texted it to us.
I want people to know, too, those are legit. I'm very demonstrative facially. I always have been, which is great for this specific context, screenshots, but basically every other time in life, it's bad. Because generally, when something's bad or out of tune, or I can't not indicate that.
You do not have facial chill.
No, which is not good for, people like
funerals.
You.
So in Act 3, Bashir thinks that Odo got infected from the female founder when they merged, and that the symptoms will be coming soon. Odo, of course, does not want to quit on the mission. So Bashir is throwing himself into research to try to find a cure by pulling up reference tests from Odo's time at Starfleet Medical. Back on Bajor, Dukat sneaks into Kai Wynn's chamber and opens the Necronomicon. But before he can read it too much, a red light flies out of the book and blinds him. Wynn enters furious. Only she can read the text, and apparently she's not bluffing when she says that. Interesting, scary book. Back on Deep Space Nine.
I don't know why. This is such a small nitpick. The effect for that wasn't great, and they've done such good effects that one just didn't do it for me.
No, I didn't find it. I mean, it was sort of Indiana Jonesy, but
he's not wrong.
What else would it be, really?
Let's go back to that picture where we find out Odo has the disease.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there it is.
I mean, yeah.
That's Mike having zero chill.
What an idiot.
Lots of chill, buddy. Lots of chill.
There's still episodes to join. Join us. Patreon.com/KNM. Keith and Mike? K&M? K&M. Yeah. K&M.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. You figured it out. It's only been 7 seasons. So, on Deep Space Nine, the Klingons do a blood ceremony honoring Martok. He is inducted into the Klingon Hall of Fame. Ross is horrified that he's going to have to cut himself too. And I think Barry Jenner does some very good comedic bits as Admiral Ross dealing with all of these things. It's a nice little light piece of all of this darkness. He's underrated, I think, as a comedic actor in Deep Space Nine. It's subtle, but it's great. But we get to the problem. Gowron reveals why he's really here. He is going to take over leading the war from Martok. He's going to take direct command of the forces. Uh-oh. Everybody else looks very concerned.
You know what I liked about this beat is that when it's the bad guys, right? Remember last week? Wei-Yun assumes that Damar is so chippy and cheery because, well, now you think we're going to win, so you want to be part of it.
Right.
But I think Gowron, since he thinks they might pull this thing off, now he wants the Klingon glory, so he's taken over the ship. Yeah, I thought it was a very cool parallel to that other beat.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing that we have learned about Gowron from all the ways that we have met him, especially on Next Gen, the dude is incredibly political. And he is a glory hound, and he is seeking this out. And that's sort of what makes him shitty. Which is why everybody's scared. Meanwhile, Bashir is being stonewalled by Starfleet Medical, trying to get Odo's medical records. They're classified, but something shady is going on. And Starfleet does not trust Odo, and they have no interest in finding a cure, because they're afraid it will fall into Dominion hands. Interesting to see Starfleet being pretty cagey, pretty shady about this. Meanwhile, Kira, Odo, and Garrick arrive on Damar's base. Damar, and this is like it's not really shown specifically, but it's a great acting beat from Casey Biggs here. Because as Damar meets Kira and Odo and Garrick, he's very professional, but he avoids making eye contact with Kira. And it's very tense, but go back and watch it, and you will see him being the leader, being professional, but he is always avoiding her eye line, and it's understandable why. So in Act 4, Kira teaches them all how to be a resistance force by breaking into smaller autonomous cells. Odo and Garrick give them reasonable targets for small forces, but the Cardassians object to attacking locations that have other Cardassians guarding it. And Kira tells them, guess what? You can't spare collaborators. Otherwise, the Dominion will just put them on every location and you can't attack anyone. And Damar knows she's right. And, guess what? Collaborators. Don't be one. He says in 2025. So, back on Deep Space Nine, Bashir has used Sisko's clearance to override the classification and get the data he's looking for. He and O'Brien discuss, and he says that, they discuss the Ezri situation, and O'Brien thinks that she is now with Worf now. O'Brien says, Bashir says he thinks that Ezri is with Worf now, but O'Brien says, no, she's not. He's misunderstood.
So, this is like my one little criticism, basically, of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I love this beat. I love them.
Right.
The friendship that has, like, stemmed from them hating each other in the beginning. But the first scene, I should have mentioned it then, with him and Ezri. It's just like, that's also not really something that happens in life. Like, I shouldn't say that. It was so convenient that just when she's about to tell him and he's ignoring her, which him ignoring her and not wanting to hear it kind of beat is true to him. His sort of, I'm smarter than everybody. I don't need to hear it. I've already figured this out. I don't need you to solve the puzzle for me. But then just when she's about to come out and just like tell him, there's a convenient, that just felt a little contrived and it's unnecessary. Like, just, I sound like Keith now. I'm just like, all right, we're in the friggin' home shoot here. We have so many relationships that are already pre-established that we can work with. Like, can we just get to the good stuff? Anyway, it just feels like I'm feeling Keithy about it, where I'm like, come on, let's just get to the pew-pews. Let's do this thing.
You know, it's tough. I agree with you. I'm with you on this. Like, it is.
Not that they don't deserve it. They can just do it though. Just like get it done with, and now let's go do the ending.
Just do it. Like it is a. They're giving the storyline too much weight. We all know where we're headed. We know it's going to happen. The sort of sitcom-ness of it, I feel like, is wasting time for other things that we care more about.
Also, we've done Will They, Won't They like 4 times now. We did it with Odo Kira. We did it with Dax and Worf. We did it with Ezri and Worf. Now it's like, let's just let them be mature. And we're so mature in the other relationships. Also, where is Keiko?
They're really just... They are suffering from messing up their relationship with Terry and not having her back for the final season. Like, and so all of this is downstream. All the time we spent on Ezri, all of the trying to make this relationship be as important as all of these other relationships, including with some of our recurring guest stars. They're just trying so hard to make us care as much about this as we do literally everything else in this episode. And we just don't. And
actually, you just made me... we can talk about this another time at the end of the whole thing. But you know what they could have done is just double down. You know what? We killed Dax, and so now Dax is dead. We have to live with that and write around that, like, and deal with the Worf of it and stuff. Like, nothing against Ezri, nothing against, like, that's all cool, but that would have been an interesting take as well.
I think if we had a chance to do it again, that's what they would have done. You know, I'm sure, you know, they were feeling from Paramount, we need to bring somebody in new, we need to bring somebody young and hot and make that a focus. Like, I get it. That is such a producer networking. And again, I am not one of those people who hates Ezri or who hates. I think Nicole is delightful. The character is great. It's just, I think she should have been a recurring guest.
Yeah.
And not somebody we tried to shoehorn into the big arc.
Yeah, actually would have been great because it would have been consistent with Trill society, right? She goes and she's working somewhere else, or they are working somewhere else, whoever. It doesn't even have to be a woman, of course. And we have to consult with them, or like Worf maybe has a back channel because they're not supposed to have contact, but...
And it allows you to wrap up the character and have those episodes where she works through, you know, all these relationship beats with Worf or whatever. I like doing that. Mm-hmm. It's just then trying to be like this thing with Bashir. Just have them end up together. We get it. Like you can literally just like, as we pull away in the finale, assuming you know they all survive and whatever, just have them holding hands. That's all you need to do. Yeah. You did it.
Or like when they came back on the ship, they both know they embrace and it's done with.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
We won't belabor the point.
We've already done that.
Poor Ezri gets wildly disproportionate amount of crap from the fans.
I would agree with that.
So, where am I? So, I rolled down. This is a big problem. It's a big problem.
Roll up, Bubba.
All right, I'm doing it. So, but then, all of this, will they, won't they, who cares, gets interrupted when Bashir discovers that Starfleet has faked the data, even after Sisko's overriding the clearance. This is clearly the work of Section 31. And they are going to sacrifice Odo to avoid the possibility of giving the Founders a cure. Meanwhile, Martok and Worf discuss Gowron's taking over. Gowron doesn't have nearly as much experience, but he wants the glory. He's a politician. But they are going to be loyal soldiers. On Damar's base, the Cardassian goons antagonize Odo.
That's a great scene, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a great scene. And Dorn, who doesn't do a ton in this episode, I got a little choked up when he gave his buddy and was like, yo, I know this doesn't go the way you thought, but I will, it's been an honor. I choked up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
it had the weight.
He's being a good soldier and he's being honorable. That said, you know, when honor breaks down at the top, what is the honorable thing to do becomes more complicated. So on Damar's base, the Cardassian goons antagonize Odo about his hypocrisy and perhaps willful ignorance during the occupation. And I think they have a point. But Kira stands up for him, even though they call Odo a collaborator too. I thought this was on its face, this seems like a stupid, like, conflict goons being goony. But when you really think about it, they've got a point. And it is understandable that they are pretty pissed that he's telling them to kill their people because they're collaborators. And they're like, yeah, you want us to kill my buddy working for the Dominion, but like, buddy, you were a collaborator too. And I don't think it is quite as black and white as that, but it is also not as clean as what Kira would like to believe. So I thought it was an interesting scene. I liked it.
There was a... No, I'm going to bail on that. Go ahead.
Okay. Where do we go? Odo and Kira leave, and she is furious. She's under a lot of stress and is clearly very worried about Odo, though she does not say it. And she has good reason to, because after she leaves, Odo discovers that he has a bit of Founder's disease on his hand. Uh-oh. In Act 5, of course, he hides it when she returns. Back on Bajor, Wynn comes in to the now blind Dukat. There's nothing wrong with his eyes, but he's been blinded anyway by the Pah-wraiths. and she casts him out and tells him to be a beggar on the street until the Pah-wraiths restore his sight. And she says, without a hint of irony or hypocrisy, you need a lesson in humility. I'm going to see that you get it. Ugh. Delicious.
She is... I didn't think they could out Dukat Dukat. And there were so many... I'll talk about that later. I think it's great that she has now elevated to the point of casting him out. It was only a matter of time before they turned on each other.
Of course, inevitably.
But whereas I thought his delusion was strong, I think there's always underneath like an element of, I'm the best, I'm going to get what I deserve, right? But for her, I think now she truly has been like trumped, right? Or like the Holy Roman Emperor, right? They're like, you know what? Not only am I the religious leader, but I'm the leader. I could be a god. It's like she has gone to a place where now she can, it's awesome.
You need a lesson in humility, says freaking Kai Wynn. Delicious.
Oh, so good. I love that I just compared Trump and the Holy Roman Emperor. That's where we are, man.
Not entirely not unapt. I mean, we are an empire about to crumble, kids. So on Deep Space Nine, speaking of empires crumbling due to terrible leadership, Gowron announces a reckless and foolish plan to do a mass assault with the Klingon ships despite the fact that they are completely outnumbered and must be holding the line until the rest of the forces are prepared. But dumbass Gowron is going to charge forward anyway. Yikes. And this always fills me with this sense of dread and doom when you like see a leader do something stupid, like suicidally stupid like this.
You know,
for the entire quadrant.
This isn't even to be political, right? This is just the truth of it. I remember being in school and now, yes, American exceptionalism is something that was kind of really put upon us. Even in like AP history, right? And the Constitution, I think it is an incredible document. I think it is extremely rigid, but flexible enough for us to continue the experiment. A lot to love about it. But when you elevate it to such almost Bible deity status...
Right, you think of it as scripture.
When you do that, you then also bestow upon it unfailable magical powers. So when things happen and the conversations around it become theoretical. But like yesterday, this is a great example, and these are just facts, okay? You had some members of Congress who wanted to tell members of the military, they're basically saying, hey, it is baked into the Constitution that if you are told to do something unlawful, you don't have to do that. Like the Constitution, you
have to follow the law.
You follow the chain of command, and at the top is the commander-in-chief. But above the commander-in-chief is the rule of law and the Constitution. That's what they were saying.
Pretty simple.
The president basically then just said, no, you got to do what I say.
And those who said that you don't should be executed.
Yes. I mean, that... I don't want to... Yes,
that is what he said.
That is what he said. But the conversation around that has become just like a... Not that it's not important, but it's become like a talking point. But the point of that is that when you get to a place like we're at, where now we're arguing the actual specifics of... do you have to follow the orders or do you not have to follow the orders? When we're here, you then realize, oh, the Constitution is just a piece of paper. What we do in these moments is it's not like, what I'm saying is that if it was a magical religious text, then there is no debate. The right thing happens. But the right thing doesn't just happen in the real world.
No. The Constitution is like a $10 bill. It has power because we all choose to believe that this is worth $10.
Mm-hmm. I probably would have used a penny in that analogy because we just stopped at the penny, and I think it adds a nice wrinkle.
Yeah,
but,
no.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing is similar to what's happening on Deep Space Nine. We're in a moment now where we're all gonna have to take sides on this, the belief in law, the belief in the system of our government and our laws and our Constitution, or our leadership. Because you're right, is it chain of command, or is it the law?
So
and when chain of command believes they are above the law and the law is not above chain of command, you're forced into some impossible choices, and we're all gonna have to make those choices and are actively making those choices.
Well, and so the analogy here, of course, is that they are weighing their sort of like, actually, this is a perfect analogy because
Yes.
America, where freedom used to be sort of our main ideal, we've replaced that. Like the all of our money, all of it, like the money we give to our people and to fund our government, to fund our society, is but a sliver compared to where all of our money goes, the trillions upon trillions of dollars, which is the military. Right. We don't know what the military, we don't ever get to see what, it's just all of the money goes there. So we are a military-based society, civilization.
Yeah,
it's the truth.
question. Yeah.
Turns out that's basically what the Klingons are, right? They're about might and military and honor, I guess.
Well, it's power under the guise of the mysterious concept of honor.
Right. Which honor really is like who has the bigger bat'leth, like we solve things by killing each other. So
and
here we are.
Getting back to American exceptionalism as a weird concept that has no real meaning and never did.
Right.
And
so here
yet
we are. So it's a 1-to-1 analogy, basically, right?
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? Are you gonna just like march all their people into death because Gowron wants to saber rattle?
Because a lunatic wants the glory.
So here we are.
What are you gonna do? What then is the honorable thing to do?
Right.
Here we are.
Especially when
Deep Space Nine, 1999. 1999. Whew.
They're living la vida loca!
So much more to come.
Look at his face. I mean, it's perfect.
Yes. And Robert O'Reilly is wearing about the same amount of makeup. Because Robert O'Reilly is a white person.
Oh, boy.
Anyway. So Bashir and O'Brien start to put it together. Section 31 is not going to let them find a cure. And Quark comes in with some coffee. And I really like this little beat here. He knows that Odo is sick and he is very concerned. So he's doing what little he can to support trying to save his best friend's life. But of course, he doesn't want his frenemy to know about it. Nor does he even admit that that's what he's doing. Bashir keeps working, trying to find out when Odo was infected. And it wasn't when he gooed with the Founder. It was actually 3 years previous, when he was at Starfleet. Remember when he went to Starfleet in San Francisco? We did all that? And guess what? Starfleet infected him. Section 31 infected Odo, and then, of course, the Founders. They weren't trying to cover up the cure. They were trying to cover up genocide. Bashir and O'Brien must find a cure before Section 31 finds them. Whew!
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
That's crazy. Okay, let's do it.
That's crazy!
I feel like this bumper now has the proper gravity.
Oh, it's got some weight to it. Yeah.
What a friggin' idiot. Some of these buttons just don't work, huh? So, that's not right.
That's not right. Best moment, buddy.
Yeah, boop, 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 boop. There's so many good ones in this one, but I'm gonna give it to that last moment because we didn't even talk about it, but that's why I waited. You know, I think we've talked about this before. We definitely have. But there's some things where it's nice when, like, the show tells you who the murderer is at the front, and then you watch the good guys figure it out, right? And then there's shows where, like, The Sixth Sense or the movie, right, where, like, you don't know until the last minute, and then they show you all of the threads you could have put together. But then one of my faves, dude, is when it's written and paced so well that you figure it out seconds before they do. And then not only do you get the shock reveal, but you get to feel like a friggin' genius because you put it together. And I had that exact moment watching that last scene. Because you see it in Bashir's face. He's puzzling it out, and I'm like, why would they? But I was like, he gave it to him. They did it. They biological warfared it, and I'm like, oh man, that's so good. Because there's so many moments with the Kira of it, the collaborator of it, the Damar of it, where we're talking about these the nuance of like, is it hypocritical? Or we collaborate? It's like the good guy is basically on what side you're on, because now we're working with the Cardassians and they're traitors, but are they traitors? And it's like that nuance is what makes the show great, right? But then they drop a nuke bomb, like almost literally. They give us like a Hiroshima moment where they're like, what if we would just say, for the good of the war, we'll kill everybody.
We'll kill every member of an entire species.
Right?
Genocide. Literally genocide.
Yeah. Like, what if we Holocaust the Nazis? I'm not going to jump into that pool, but, right?
Yeah.
And listen, it feels overwhelming to even conceptualize that. Like, I feel like a bad person for even thinking it through.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine. And that we actually bestow those decision-making powers upon people is insane to me. And then,
that's real. Happens every day.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And not only that, but like flawed people. Like not heroes. It's crazy. Like you're just watching TV on UPN.
Right.
And all of a sudden you're like, I gotta weigh the pros and cons of genocide and secret government black ops that are doing this covertly to try to fool our augmented doctors so that we don't. Yo. I mean, we live it. We've been through it. But, you know, especially in our society, and this is really interesting, and especially in our society, we've become such consumers of content. It's especially in our privileged, you and I specifically, Keith, our privileged position is really easy to watch the news and be like, oh, it's going to hell. I'm glad I got my extra paper towels and my this and my that, my house I can live in. But not everybody is that privileged. And it is scary when you start to think those things through and be like, yo, maybe just watching isn't going to be enough. Maybe like at some point we're going to have to mobilize. You know, I just mean, and I mean mobilize in like, have a say. I mean, hopefully we get that say next November, because that's our biggest power. And if that gets taken away, I think the ball game is over at that point. I really don't see another. I think it's over at that point. So I'm gonna. I don't really want to, but that's where we go. That's what this episode has done for me. So that's the best moment for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's... This revelation defines Deep Space Nine in the canon in some ways.
We are the bad guys.
This is the thing that no other show in Trek would ever do or ever touch. And this is sort of like the culmination of like the darkness of and the realism of Deep Space Nine, and like the foundational loss of innocence.
Oh, freak it! We're in it. Let's just do it. I mean, like,
for Starfleet, for Star Trek, and to have this be the revelation here, and it is. I mean, it's a stunning moment in Trek history. It really is.
Do you know what I think makes it even better, buddy? Is I think taken on its own. In fact, I probably have recall saying this time before. Back when we started the Pa Wraith journey. It's almost cartoonish, He-Man versus Skeletor, to a place where I'm like, it's too silly. To think that its inevitable conclusion is to juxtapose it, because I believe that's where they brought us. They bring Wynn, who became Skeletor, right?
Right.
Today. Faced with this genocidal conflict.
Well, you have cartoon evil and real evil.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And when you hold that up to each other, you realize that, like, oh, the concept of good and evil is so complex and at the same time so simple. And the difference is that I think we've used cartoons and we've used pro wrestling and we've used the boogeyman to simplify it to people and to remove the hypocrisy of it for people, right? Oh, devil, God, right?
Right.
But when you really look at real evil and the nuance of it and the fact that you might be on the wrong side, right? I think it's terrifying.
And I'll tell you why. Because cartoon evil, like Skeletor, gives no justification other than, I have ultimate power, right? Real evil, Section 31, would come up with a rationalization and a justification which makes some logical sense.
Yeah, which is hard to argue against.
For the greater good, for the whatever. And it's so much scarier because, whether or not they believe that they are evil, they believe that they are justified for the greater good, not for the greater power.
Look, to this day, Keith, you play me that Colonel Jessup monologue, and I'm like, I mean.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, but they killed the dude. And you're like, I think it's baffling, and as I get older, it becomes more baffling because I just don't know the answer. Yes, well, it's wrong.
But you used Hiroshima as an analogy. It's a perfect analogy, right? Or we talk about the nukes, sure, but we also firebombed all of Germany, killing.
Oh, we're just droning droning random boats, man.
Oh, well, that's just like murder. There's no justification for that whatsoever. But it's like it's terrifying, and it is mature in a way that the Pa Wraiths is sort of like you said, cartoony, sort of a little bit immature, a little bit showy, and this is the deeper, darker, adult version of the darkness here.
But here's a flip. Like, I know we were like 19 at the time, so I won't use us. But like, let's say you're 7, 10. When did you start watching Trek? Like, what was your heyday?
Oh, I started watching it at Next Gen in '87.
Okay, so you're 7 years old. So let's say you're watching Deep Space Nine at 7.
Yeah.
You probably like the Wynn stuff because you're like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get what that is. Your 7-year-old brain can't weigh the complexities of.
But here's the thing. The difference between Wynn and Section 31 is Trump and Stephen Miller.
Okay, yeah, great.
Like, one is the cartoon villain looking in the mirror, like going for self-aggrandizement, yelling on the top of a mountain how great I am, and one is the stone-cold sociopath murdering people in the shadows.
We wear our politics on our sleeves, so I don't think we're offending anybody. But
ship sailed. We're behind.
The Trump part of that, which I think is funny, is that not funny. I don't know why I said that word. That I think is interesting in parallel to this episode is that what I've come to despise more than Trump is not the Trump of it. It's the collaborators. It's the people. I mean, the man is clearly not right. I mean, it's clear, and if not just flat stupid. And yet the people who just fall over themselves to justify it, like the propagandists, the collaborators underneath, the release of the files this week, right? Oh, what a big success. You know that you're never going to see the files. But the reason they all voted for it is because he at the last second said, oh, you can vote for it because he was caught.
So so let's finish it out, because then, you have his allies, political allies, who are the collaborators, and then you have the Democrats, who are the capitulators, who are the Bajorans working with them, and then you have the goons, which are ICE. You know what I mean? Like, that going around terrorizing the people. So it's unbelievably prescient about our true our world today, this Deep Space Nine world, is more prescient and more relevant today than it has ever been in all of Deep Space Nine's time.
Well, let me finish my point on it, because it is interesting. We can debate back and forth what side you're on. Probably we can go back and forth on that all day. Me and you, hypothetical person who does not agree with me politically.
The one.
Sure.
Watching it.
Whomever. To go back to our conversation of the deitizing of the Constitution, they would have you believe that this is the thing they try to teach our kids, which we've come to learn, and I think is the ultimate hypocrisy. Whatever side. That all this BS that's happening, the capitulating, the this, the that any of it is for us, for the people, by the people, of the people. They don't give about us. None of them. Neither side. Ultimately. I mean,
nor did the founders who wrote it.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that is the ultimate comedy of it, right? And to be honest, we haven't really for 200 years. There hasn't been Sunshine Rainbows. I mean, I think I still, even at my core, applaud the ideal of it, just like Trek.
Of course, yeah.
But we would be foolish to not be skeptical and to analyze and critique it as we go along, which is what we're doing with the show, and what the show is doing to what science fiction is supposed to be doing for society at large.
It is the intersection of idealism and human nature.
And so how we fight the fight, Keith, is by handing out fictional self-sealing stem bolts.
Yeah, we sure do.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That is what we do. And you're welcome. We might have... Are we saving America? We might be.
Saving? I feel like we have already saved.
Have you looked out a window lately?
Not really. I'm in a basement. Oh, man, we laugh because inside we think we're going to die soon. And by think, I mean pretty much no. Mold. I just mean mold. Any minute it's coming for me.
Wow.
This one's great. 98.
Yeah. 98. There it is. Yeah. I mean, the other thing that I will sort of add to that, because I think that's like a perfect way to describe all of this, is in terms of sort of the best moment. I'm just going to highlight for like the coming threat of Gowron's, quest for glory here puts a anxiety in the pit of my stomach, and I think that's just another interesting, great and inevitable new thread we add.
I mean, you can't answer this question, so I'm going to ask it anyway. The Damar resistance. I'm wondering if that is an active piece of the resulting endgame, or a foreshadowing symbol of what must be asked of the Klingons. Of Worf and Martok. Or both.
Yeah, well, and
I mean, also, would it be redundant to have yet another behind the lines resistance, like Worf and Gowron, or Worf and Martok trying to undermine Gowron, or?
Well, I think it is the real answer for every moving piece in this fight, in this battle. You're going to have to pick sides. You're going to have to, your courage and your character will be revealed during the coming chaos. And that is true on every single element of Deep Space Nine is true happening right now. And, and that everybody has a chance, will have their opportunity to reveal who they are when they stand up or they don't stand up, whether they fight, whether they capitulate, whether they lean into, and that at any step along the process, you can still fight on the side of good. And I think that's what Damar is. For all of the wrong that he did, and he did some profound wrong, he still was able to, far too late, pick up the sword and make the sacrifices.
Are you watching the new Ken Burns American Revolution?
Not yet, no. I'd like to.
One of his takes, which I think is, overdue, is a real critical lens of George Washington.
Sure.
But just like you said, what pro or con, however you think of America or whatnot, despite his raging flaws as a person, his greatest heroic act was the revolution doesn't happen without George Washington. And in the face of the resulting revolution, he recognized his flaws. He didn't apologize for them or change them, but he baked into the system, or fought to bake into the system, a way to protect against other hymns, basically.
Interesting. Fascinating.
In a way. So, interesting man. Interesting show. Great Ken Burnser. It's on PBS for free.
Fight the good fight, folks.
Did you give a number?
96. Okay. Self-sealing stem bolts. So in IMDb, this was an 8.1, which is number 41 out of 173. Up next week, Tacking Into the Wind. So here we go. I mean, it's silly to say, like, look out, because we're on the roller coaster.
Yeah, right.
Here we go. So thank you, everybody, for sitting through all of that. I know it got a little bleak for a bit, but you know what? That's what it is. That's where we're at. And so we appreciate everybody watching. We appreciate everybody commenting and liking and subscribing.
All of it.
You can join our Patreon at patreon.com/K&M.
Please do.
And we will see you back here next week with another episode of Keep the Mic. Watch Deep Space Nine.
I'm going to play that bumper we talked about earlier at the end of the trailer. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching K&M Entertainment. If you enjoyed our particular brand of nonsense, please
You're not supposed to know this, but
or become one of our patrons.
Assuming I find it.
Patreon.com/K&M. You got about 5 seconds. 5.
No, I'm going to post, baby.
3,
Do it in post.
2.
You're not supposed to notice that you've been on the show before, but now you get twice the residuals arriving at your door. So welcome back to the practice. I'll pretend that I don't recognize that I saw you in season 2.